Hello everyone, it's Julie from sproutsandstems.com here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about 6 things I did / am currently doing to make my plant care easier. Little teaser number 4 is one that I'm really excited about. So before I get into that, please take 2 seconds to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any new planty content from me. Any resources, supplies, plants that I mention in this video or any of my videos will be at the link in the description. And last but not least, if you'd like to access exclusive planty videos and get plant help, check out my membership, either my YouTube membership or my Patreon, both basically the same, also linked in the description. And now I'll get into the video. Just a little quick preface before I get to my list of things. If you want, you can skip ahead to the list. I know sometimes I ramble on for a little too long. This has kind of stemmed from my planty New Year's resolutions. I did a video a few months ago on those, and one of them was just wanting to get more organized in general to make my plant care easier and more enjoyable. The reason why this has been such an issue for me, mainly because most of my plants are hanging, and watering / caring for plants that are hanging can be a pain in the butt sometimes. And last but not least, some of these things might feel really obvious and kind of, dare I say, stupid, but that's kind of like almost what this video is about. It's like you get so used to doing things in a certain way that you don't even think how one little change can improve your situation so much. So I'm aware that some of these things are extremely obvious. Okay, number 1 is I bought a grabber. Literally got this at Dollar Tree. It's not super sturdy, but it's good enough for grabbing lightweight plants down from where they're hanging, from high spaces. I'll put some footage on the screen, but there's a shelf above my bed that if I want to get the plants down, I have to step on the bed, and it's a pain if my bed is made and messing up the sheets and blah, 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 whatever. Now with this grabber, I can just stand on my stool kind of off to the side and grab the plants and get them down. Maybe consider investing in a stronger one rather than a Dollar Tree one, but even this is definitely helping me. Number 2 is I bought an actual step stool. Before I have this old like makeup table bench that was my grandma's, and you can see it's a little discolored, but it's just because it's very old, but it's my grandma's, so it's important to me. But that is what I was using as a step stool, just carrying that around the apartment anytime I needed to reach anything, and I didn't like doing that. I was like, why do I keep stepping on this stool, not treating it with the love and care that my grandma deserves, probably contributing to the dirtiness. I got a stool. I got a step stool. I don't know why that was so hard for me, but apparently it was. So now I have this, super easy to carry around, and that has made my plant care easier, a lot easier. Number 3, and Giselle actually is kind of in the way, but I got better storage and organized my plant things more. So the majority of my plant stuff is now in that wicker trunk, which I found on Facebook Marketplace for $35. Are you kidding? It's so cute. But all in that trunk, and then I have some more pots back there in that little bin. And then I have any like chemical type stuff like fertilizer and insecticide I keep under the sink. And other than that, I have one more box in my closet that has some other random plant things that I really don't use that often. So everything that I use often is right in here. Giselle, can you move, please? Can you just move to this one, please? Right here.
Good girl.
That's what it looks like inside. Everything in there is nice and organized, and it's definitely working a lot better for me.
You can come back up here now, little kid.
There you go. Number 4, which I said was my favorite, is this thing. What is this thing, you may ask? Well, since you asked, I water my pitcher plant with distilled water. So I have these big gallon jugs that I use for them. And this thing is always just hanging around. Luckily, I have somewhere to put it now in this trunk that I'm sitting on. But sometimes I would try to pour it out of this, which is kind of tricky. Sometimes I would pour it into my watering can, which is annoying just to pour it into something separate. So my friend 3D printed me a spout that screws on to this jug. Oh, it's heavy. Just like that. And I'm not going to pour it on the floor, but now it's a lot easier to pour into my pitcher plant. It's literally just a watering can, essentially. And yeah, so this has really made watering my pitcher plant so much easier. And I'm really excited about this. I'm sure there are things out there that exist that you can attach to a jug like this. I really didn't even search for something. I just asked if he could 3D print me something like this. So I have this little custom made thing, but I'm sure the internet has something like it. Number 5, and I'm still kind of working on this, is that I got just a better way to catch water as I'm watering my hanging plants. So what I had originally intended was if I could like somehow attach something to my watering can so that I only need to use one hand, and then when I water the plant, it could catch water underneath the plant, but this wasn't really quite the right container for that. I think that's going to require something a little more complicated, but still this thing has been helpful because it's easy. It has like a hook, a little handle to hang on to. Before I just had like a big bowl that I was just kind of holding up like this as I'm watering my plant. Now it's just kind of like bloop. And still working on this to see if I can come up with a better way, but this in general has still been easier to catch the water that comes out of my hanging plants. Last but not least, number 6, and you may have heard me talk about this in some other videos, but I don't hang on to plants that no longer bring me joy. That is something that I've always practiced. I definitely wanted to include it on this list just because I think sometimes we can feel such an obligation to things, and at the end of the day, if it doesn't make us happy, there's really no reason to continue to hold on to it. And that goes for plants and for anything in life. Now, I don't mean like go buy a plant and then a week later you get bored and you throw it away. I just mean if you have a plant that maybe for like a while now, you're like, I'm just bored of this plant. I just don't feel the same about it anymore. Then consider rehoming it. A good example is my Spanish moss. It's in a bag because it no longer sparks joy, and so I'm giving it to my other friend tonight when I see him later. And yeah, it'll go on to thrive in another home. You can also list plants on Facebook Marketplace. If you don't care about the price, if it was just a cheap thing and you just want to get rid of it, you list it for free, and I'm sure someone will snap it up pretty quickly. And if a plant is on its last legs anyway, if you don't want to stress about trying to save a plant that's pretty much almost a goner, it's okay then to just throw that out. So that is it for my 6 things that I'm doing to make my plant care easier. I hope maybe you got some ideas from this video. Like I said, I know some of the stuff was like, duh, but not so much when you do things a certain way for so long, not so much. So thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you guys next time.